Carter? Hey there.
Hey, Joe.
How are you? Attendees. Oh, are these the applicants? Oh, and William Benash. Are you able to make a host, Carter, so I can share the?
Just doing it right now.
Oh, thanks so much. I'll share the.
Hey, William, how are you?
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
That's a good one.
Good.
All right. So, Joe, do you think the other committee members know that it's at 5:30 and not 6?
I'm not. I mean, I don't know if people are going off of the calendar invite or the. I mean, the Zoom invite or the calendar.
Yeah, it's set up as a reoccurring meeting, so that's why I guess when we
Had this 6:30.
we can go over.
Well, let's see. I just sent an email to everyone, to the committee.
How was everybody's weekend?
Good. How are you, William?
Good. There were thousands of people at Washington Square Saturday, a couple blocks.
Oh, wow.
From.
Is there one right now? Because there's a ton of police helicopters.
I don't know. It's really nice weather yesterday.
Yeah.
I went on a walk today down to Varick Street just to see if I could see what kind of places were opening today. I didn't see too much though.
Nothing at all. Or so.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi,
Ed, how are you?
Okay, hi. I'm glad finally I see my picture. Yeah.
Oh, great. We'll get started soon.
Yeah, yes. Okay, thank you.
Just waiting for a couple more members. And let's see the.
Are we all showing up as you?
I don't know. Weird, right? Oh, and then the calendar on our calendar, like the physical calendar, shows it's starting at 6. So only the description is at 5:30. Do you think we should start at 6, Carter? Do you think we should wait, Carter, till 6 or just begin? Are you there, Carter? Oh, I can't hear you.
These aren't actually sidewalk cafe applications, right? Both of
No,
these.
they're, yeah, relocating an ADA lift and then,
I mean, yeah, I mean, you might be able to, if you do the presentation, the only thing is if anybody jumps on and they have questions, you might want to go back. Just,
yeah,
but these are fairly,
routine.
you know, I'll leave it for you to,
Okay, so East 9th Street is Thomas Zoli. So I move them up to panelists, right? What else do we have? Oh, map. Well, I'll just start with the open it up or start the meeting, and then if anyone joins in, I can introduce people then. But my name is Joe Gallagher. I'm the host of the Community Board 2 Quality of Life Committee. Our committee hears applications for sidewalk cafes, street activities, any alterations to sidewalks like we're seeing today with a stoop and an ADA lift. We are mandated by the city charter to collect community feedback on these applications, and then we send our recommendation for approval or denial to the relevant city agency, and they will take our recommendation in consideration when they make the final determination for these applications. I'll start in the order of the agenda, and then once the applicant has a chance to speak to their application, the committee will have a chance to ask questions, and if then anyone is here from the public to weigh in on these applications, we'll take their comments as well. After that point, and then after we've heard both applications, we'll go into business session, at which point just the committee members will discuss the applications and then vote on a recommendation for the full community board to consider. And the full community board is meeting June 18th, is that right, Carter? Yes, June 18th, next Thursday. So the full board will consider these applications at that time. Okay, so thank you to the applicants for agreeing to appear or for appearing remotely like this. I know it's more of a challenge. I'm going to move Mr. Zoli up to panelists now because first we'll be hearing the applications or the application to construct, maintain, and use a front stoop to a parlorway main entry into the house and steps to a lower secondary entry to the basement level. And this is at 17 East 9th Street. And, hi, Mr. Zoli, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Is there someone else that was part of your application that's here, or is it just you?
Jeff might be here. Jeff.
Oh yeah, I see him, yep.
Yeah.
I'll move
If
him
we
up.
but have him join too, that'd be great.
Yep, I just moved him up as well.
We will certainly tag team the presentation.
Let me share the your application so everyone can see it. Sorry, 1 second.
Hey, Jeff.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Okay. I think that's it. Can everyone see that application?
Yep.
Okay. Great. Yeah, so you have the floor to just speak to what you're looking for here.
Sure. The project involves renovating one of the old townhouses on 9th Street. Our intent was to basically replace what we believe to be an original stoop that we don't have any photographic evidence of. We assumed, based on certain characteristics left over in some of the masonry work on the facade, that there was a stoop at one time, as it traditionally would have done for all the buildings on the street. Usually what happened was they had a stoop, and then the stoop was removed when they turned them into multiple dwellings. And oftentimes put a commercial tenant on the basement level, like a doctor's office, which is what this building used to have.
Gotcha.
It's been vacant for quite some time from the standpoint of renting, but the original C of O, the latest C of O had it as office and then individual units up the building. We're turning it back into a single family residence, obviously lowering the density accordingly. And we'd like to put the stoop back in because this building is set back from the actual from the adjacent buildings. A lot of the buildings on the street are not totally coplanar. And this one is set back about, I can't remember the number off the top of my head. I feel like it's about a foot, might be 18 inches. But that setback gives us a little bit more room, but it's actually set back from its own property line. But the truth is, to put a stoop on based on the height of the parlor level, to put a stoop on, we've compacted the steps as much as we can to still meet the code. We've made the landing as small as possible to still meet the code, and the stairwell that comes down effectively is over the property line. Hence the reason that we have to go to revocable consent to get permission and the Department of Transportation through the Department of Transportation process. And that Jeff can speak to more if we have any more questions on that. But that was really it. It was there currently is a sunken step that goes down that is currently over the property line, and in the it's basically grandfathered in the right of way, we would just like to effectively have a small, again, as small as possible area way that can get you into the basement level, and the stoop that gets you into the parlor level like a traditional townhouse.
Gotcha.
And you can see, our setback from the property line there is approximately 18 inches, I think. The dashed line cutting across the screen there is the property line. That's the current stoop the current sunken entrance that goes into the basement level. You can see there.
And then it looks like the rest will be gated and
that's actually the adjacent lot.
Oh, okay, sorry.
One in the middle. Yeah, that's the sort of what is mimicked on the adjacent lot.
Gotcha.
Our lot is 17. It's lot 26 there, right in the middle, and this is the existing condition, including the tree pit, etc. If you go, I think the next page has the proposed condition. And yeah, you can see in red is the area that's over the property line. That's the way DOT likes to see it represented. We're also making the tree pit smaller, and that's been approved by Parks Department. Jeff had to wrangle with them for quite some time to allow them, because they wanted to save. It's a beautiful Japanese, I'm forgetting the name of the tree, but it's a beautiful tree we'd like to save. And so Parks allowed us to basically minimize that tree pit as much as possible to allow for the minimal handicap access that goes between the tree pit and the edge of the stoop.
And so how much total is it that would be now going over onto the city sidewalk from the existing condition? So right now it looks like it's 4.3 feet, is that right?
Yeah, 4 foot 3 inches.
Is
right.
now it'll be going to the width of this.
8 foot 5 inches. There's a dimension right there on the left too. I can barely see it.
6'5".
6 foot
The
5.
property line to the face of the stoop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's about a little over 2 feet extension from where it is now.
Correct.
Okay. And you already said that the property right to the side of you has this. Well, I guess theirs looks like it's a little shorter then, right?
So, yeah, there's similar stoop conditions all the way up and down the street.
They just don't have access to the basement or the bottom floor at lot 25. You know, why is theirs so much shorter?
I believe theirs is a sunken, which goes down to the basement, sunken stair.
Yeah, I don't believe they have a stoop.
Oh, it's not a stoop. Okay.
They just have the sunken entry, which is like our existing condition. They have an areaway, you know, that it projects out over their property line. Their property line is at the face of their building. So everything that they have in front of that property line is actually
Right.
within the right of way.
Gotcha.
If you go 2 more properties to the left, and I'm just looking on Google now, that's
Yeah.
when the stoops start. So
Okay. Okay, great. And you said it's a single family residence that'll be converted to.
it will be, yes.
Okay. And Jeffrey, did you have more to add?
No, I mean, if there's any particular questions regarding anything, but that pretty much sums it up.
Jeff,
Great.
maybe just give them a little background on the approval process that we've been through already.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And the public entities that have already approved it.
That's great.
So this started off with an application to DOT. DOT initially came back and said this tree and the clearance from the tree and the stoop would be a little lower than what is desired. So we went back to Parks and we requested permission to remove the tree. Parks said no. We presented to them the historical aspects of, you know, the fact that there was a reference to a stoop. There's masonry evidence that there was a stoop, and the conditions up and down the roadway that, you know, dictated kind of the parameters of what the stoop should look like. Basically evidencing that, you know, this had a stoop before and here's what it should be. And consequently the tree, which was planted after the stoop was removed and it has since grown up, you know, is justified in being removed, and we would like to relocate it. You know, we're happy to do whatever it is to accomplish that. So then we were between Parks and DOT because Parks basically said no. So they had an internal meeting and they worked out a plan where both parties were in agreement, and DOT has accepted this as a revocable consent. I believe this feedback from this meeting is the last piece that is needed for them to go forward on it. Parks has approved it, and I believe we have Landmarks approval as well. Is that correct, Tom?
We don't. We have Landmarks approval for the previous version of the process, but we have filed. We have the 28th is, I believe, our presentation date at Landmarks for the actual stoop. They in spirit love the stoop. They just want to make sure that we get the detailing how they want it, not how we want it. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
so-
And you've already presented to the CB2 Landmarks Committee, as I understand.
Oh, it was?
Correct. Yeah. CB2 Landmarks Committee has seen it. They, I don't believe they approved it because of the detailing, I think that was the crux of the issue. They generally love to have stoops as well.
Right.
But
And then was the detailing changed after that?
we're working on that with Landmarks now. Ultimately, we have to change the details for what Landmarks tells us to do more so than CB2, but generally speaking, that matches. That's all.
Okay.
It's all in the same spirit.
Okay, great.
So
See.
once we got the, you know, sign off from Parks on the tree pit size, which we've done two things. We've made the tree pit off center and a little smaller to be consistent with what's up and down the street. But we also are providing what is called structural pavement or structural fill under the pavement so that it allows the tree roots to grow under the sidewalk and gives it more room. We're going to do that on the entire frontage and really help support that tree.
Right. And we're accommodating the tree with all the services and any service requirements that we're bringing into the building that'll all go well around the tree.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Is there anyone, I don't know why everyone's name is my name, but anyone from the, we don't have many of the committee here, but anyone from the community board here have any questions or comments? Let me see. And any attendees here, just raise your hand in the box if you're here to speak on this application, which I don't anticipate. Okay. All right, well, appreciate both of you coming. You're welcome to stay on. We'll discuss, and then, as I said in the beginning, our recommendation will go to the full board next Thursday, June 18th, at which time the full board will vote on our recommendation to approve or deny at that
Do
time.
you know the time for that meeting?
It's at 6:30 as well, or it's at 6:30, the full board meeting.
Great.
And that's on Zoom as well.
Great.
Okay. Same process to sign up for that one?
Yes. Did you got contacted directly about this meeting?
Correct.
Tom forwarded me the email that it was sent to him, and then I logged
Okay.
in and registered.
And I can do the same thing.
Okay, and I don't know if you'll get an email directly about the full board meeting like you did for this one, but I'll send,
They would need to register from the calendar.
yeah, from the calendar at our CB2 site. I'll
Okay.
post the calendar here, and then
Great.
just click on that and you RSVP.
Got it.
1 sec. I put it in the chat, the calendar, and then you'll see the full board meeting and you can RSVP there.
Fantastic.
All right, well, thank you both for coming on the Zoom and all
Great.
that information.
You're welcome. Have a
Thank
great
you,
night.
everybody.
All right, have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, and now we have this second application, which is for, let me read the calendar. So this is 33 9th Avenue, and it's an application for a modification of a revocable consent to continue to use an ADA wheelchair lift and an exterior stairway. And just get the applicant on here. Let's see, Michael Haddad, 1 sec. Hi, Mr. Haddad. Mr. Haddad?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. This is Joe Gallagher. And is there
Hi,
anyone
Joe.
else on your application? Hello. In the,
We should have the architect, Ed Carroll, who's going to be making the presentation. Is
Great.
he on yet?
Yep. I'll put him as a panelist now.
Okay, I'm the fly on the wall. He's going to present.
Okay. And that's it for your application. The
Yeah.
only people, right? Okay.
Mhm.
And let me.
Oh, we might have Steve Thompson. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, he's on there too.
Sure.
Okay. Mahu. Hi, Mr. Carroll.
How are you?
And let me share this so everyone can see. All right, and this is your application. So this is to move, I'm trying to understand, to move this current structure.
This is, I don't know if I can control this enough, but there's an existing structure that was configured for another tenant.
Mm-hmm.
And then which you're seeing pictures of, and it's what used to be called Spice Market. And if you go, you can continue down to the next drawing right there. Stop, just come down just a little bit.
Hi, this is Omar Velos from Casira.
Actually, go, if you capture the A001, if you capture the two plans on the same, just drag it down.
Oh, let's see.
Perfect.
That's good.
So, we're looking to basically actually take about the same amount of space in a reconfigured platform with a more inviting steps, and to configure the lift so that it's less obtrusive but still meets the nature of a handicap access in the sense that it's available to anyone who might need it.
And what is the new tenant? Do you know?
The previous tenant took the ground floor and the cellar. It was a restaurant. And the entrance was where it says existing restaurant entry on the top drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And now that tenant has a entrance on 9th Avenue and an entrance where it says existing double doors. But the new tenant is moving over to where it's that existing coat room. So there's an entrance into the lobby for a restaurant, which is in the cellar. And then the service entrance is also the exit out from the fire stairs. So the previous design, which we'll go to the pictures in a minute, is a pretty beefy kind of foreboding set of structures that are entered from the side.
Right.
We wanted
It doesn't even look like it's
to open that up and allow for the steps to cascade down, much the same as 2 doors down where you see the jeans store. To also make the railings and make them thin wire railings, and to just open up the nature and character of the access, to make it more architecturally complete and to also make it a better neighbor on the street.
Great. So it looks like 2 sets of stairs.
Right. Well, we wanted to separate the fire stair from the entrance to the restaurant. And then we worked out all the clearances with the city to make sure that, all the handicap accessibility is maintained. We've already been approved by landmarks for this. It was a staff level approval.
Okay.
We have already been through the staff at DOT, so that all the dimensions and the criteria, they've given us some comments and we've responded to them. So we feel like we're at that part of the steps where we can get you guys on board and then go ahead and get hopefully an approval from DOT to move this thing forward.
Great. And the ADA lift looks like it'll be servicing all of these entrances.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. But there's also other ADA accessibilities around the site. There are some on the interior, some of the spaces. But for this particular restaurant, this was the only way that we could achieve it. We looked at lowering floors, but all the electrical service and sewers go straight beneath this entrance. So while it would have been desirable to drop everything, we were not able to do it. This was the most compact version that we could come up with. That still was something that was a little bit more sensitive to the neighbors. So if you go to these 2 drawings, you'll see what before was all these vertical elements and sideways. And what we did was we put in horizontal elements of these thin wire rails, which I know you're familiar with, and 2 very nice steps that are inviting, from our perspective, inviting and open the retail up to the street rather than create a barrier to the retail.
Yeah, it looks so much nicer.
These are just details to show these tensile wires and some of the dimensions for people.
And so do you know the amount, how much of the side, is there more of the sidewalk being used for this new configuration?
No, there's within inches of the sidewalk for both. If you were to take the length of the existing one from this stair all the way over, we go up to the point, it's hard to say because I can't control this, where it says existing platform on the right-hand side and 3 steps up.
Yeah.
Those steps off.
Okay.
Then took it and filled in the other end of the space. Those were taken off, that's correct.
Yep.
We filled up the middle piece and we moved the lift all the way to the far left. So essentially we have exactly within a foot of the same amount of space. We are further away from the corner of 9th and 13th Street by 3'8".
That's great. That's exciting. Is this is for the restaurant then?
Yeah, there's a restaurant tenant. It's sort of, I don't want to say top secret, but there's a restaurant tenant down there.
Okay.
Which hopefully will be opening soon. And then on the ground floor there will be a non-eating and drinking establishment, a retail store that opens more onto 9th Avenue.
Great. All right, excellent. Anyone else from your group wishing to speak on anything?
Well, I think that hopefully they're just going to reinforce what I've just said.
Okay. And anyone from the community board, any questions for the applicants? And let me see, there's one other person in the room who I don't know if they were here to speak on this application.
I think it's Omar, one of our consultants.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's Omar. Sorry, I'm
okay.
having a little bit of trouble.
Oh, not at all.
No, I think that basically, outlines the proposal. So,
Right.
unless there are questions from you guys. Oh, I see that.
You know what they say, everyone's an architect.
Yes, sorry.
Great. So no one, and Mr. Patel, you're not here on this application? One second.
He's part of our team as well, I believe.
Gotcha. Nothing further. Thank you. Okay, great. Okay, great. Well, thank you. We appreciate you coming in. Oh, hold on. A question. Rocio is here. 1 second.
So thank you. So wait a minute.
Hi, Rocio.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I have a lot of reservations. I'm really against these type of encroachments on our sidewalks. And I know that I just heard him say that there's no way that they can do anything inside, but I don't take no for an answer, the first no. I wish you could probably tell us, how is it possible at all that this can be done without taking the sidewalk space?
Okay, so first thing is there's an existing franchise which we're amending. Okay, this is not there's already those there. We're trying to improve the situation. We looked extensively at lowering the slab in these locations. It's millions and millions and millions of dollars to relocate the sewer and the electrical that come in directly beneath these entrances. So, we would prefer not to have these lifts. We would prefer to have direct access. It's far more desirable to do that. That being said, over the 10 years or 15 years that we've been looking at this, because these original items here, which are, to me, they create a barrier to the street. We cannot lower the slab. How do we make this as best we can? And we think we came up with a nice solution compared to what you can see as the existing conditions here. This is a legal franchise. I don't think you want to see this there, and I know that my client doesn't want to see this there. Okay, and I can tell you, if you could, that we over 2-year period look very closely at dropping this. There's transformer vaults, which you can see in the sidewalk. It's a very challenging situation, and we think we came up, again, I'm not trying to justify dropping or not justifying. There's not really a practical way to do it, so we try to come up with something that was as sensitive to the street as we could, and which made an already approved situation better.
Do you know when it was installed, the platform?
It was about 15 years ago, I want to say, when the Science Market opened. I don't know the exact date. I don't know. I think Michael knows it either, but we can find that out for you.
No, I was just curious.
I mean, it is a little mean, right? The existing situation. So we really wanted to improve that as best we could. I mean, it's better for the tenant as well. I mean, I don't know what the thought was at the time, but it's sort of like not a particularly elegant way to get to a nice restaurant.
And then you can't remove an ADA lift once one's been installed, I'm guessing.
Well, I mean, we have to, in fact, we want to preserve the lift as best we can because there is no other alternative. There's no way for us to get in on the street and go up.
Right.
In other parts of the building where we've been able to enter at the ground, we have dropped the slab and provided interior ADA lifts. So along 9th Avenue, there are no services. We drop the slab. You will be able to see it when the next door opens. Along 13th Street, we don't have that luxury. So I think that shows the commitment of this landlord to do as much on the interior as we possibly can do and to limit the exterior. There was a stair on 9th Avenue. We've removed it. We've eliminated the need for that. There was a franchise exterior thing that looked a lot like what you just saw there that we've in its entirety to improve the situation as best we could. It's not shown on these drawings. If you drop, just go down a little further, go up a little, go to the top of this drawing. you see the existing, you can see on the upper right-hand side, there was an existing exterior metal stair there that we've removed and taken away from this front. So we've already gone a step closer to what Rosario wants. Pardon me if I got your name wrong. I don't do that intentionally. But we're in agreement with you to improve this as best we can.
Any other questions, Rocio?
Not at this time. I think, I mean, I just don't like these things.
Yeah.
They're just really very ugly and disturbing to me. And I always think that there's got to be more solutions than what is being proposed. But I can't give you the answer of exactly what that solution is, but I just know that it's not in my gut to approve this kind of thing.
Okay.
I wish I was an architect or an engineer that could tell you what other solutions are, but I just don't like these platforms like this.
Understood.
Agreed with you 100%. 35 years I've been doing this.
Can you repeat that, please?
Oh, he said he agreed with you 100%.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Nobody likes these things. We can't stand them. It is absolutely a last resort scenario. And if we're going to do it, though, we're going to do a good job of it. And what was there previously, and I'm not criticizing anyone, but what was there previously is pretty maybe it was from that time of its inception. And what we're suggesting, I think, is much more open and appropriate to try to mitigate your concerns.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me see. Is there anyone else? Oh, I think Ed has a question. Ed, are you there?
I'm Ed.
Ed Ma.
Okay.
One of our committee members.
Oh, great. Hello, Ed Ma.
Are you there, Ed? Or is it Ed? It says my name, but I'm trying to figure out. Oh, Michael Levine?
Yes, that's me. Yes, that's me. I'm sorry. I came late to the meeting because I thought it was 6 o'clock, not 5:30.
Yeah, there was discrepancy.
I apologize. I missed the initial presentation. So I just have one question. If it can be answered in one sentence, I don't want to belabor the point. Are we talking about a complete replacement of what's there now, or are we talking about a change to what's there now? I wasn't 100% sure from the materials I received earlier. And you're right, it says my name under my picture, but is it brand new, a replacement, or a change to what's there now?
It's replacing what's there now.
And how much of the sidewalk does it take up in addition to less than or more than what was there before?
Less than a foot.
Or less than a foot, more or less?
Less.
It's 1 foot less than what was there before?
No, it's within 1 foot more of what it was. So yes.
Sorry. So it's not that much more space. It's just an issue of the design and whether or not we think this is appropriate in this location.
Yeah, well, they're trying to make a bad situation a little bit better by altering this original design from 20 years ago to be more inviting to the street. And they're unable to do it by moving everything inside because of the amount of sewer and other electricals within the sidewalk.
Yeah, I think that is the important point, that this has been an existing condition for decades, right? And so, you know, we hear you that, you know, it's less than optimal, right? That's why these things exist. But we're trying to improve it from how it's been for decades.
Any other questions, Michael?
No, that's it. I think I kind of caught up with it. But again, I'm not sure why so many of us have your name, Joe, under
I
our
don't
picture.
either.
So there are lots of Joe Gallaghers in the room, but again, for the record, Michael Levine is here. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Joe Gallagher, please stand up.
Close.
But sorry for everyone who's joining now. We had a discrepancy in the meeting start time. The calendar said 5:30, but then the Zoom meeting said 6 o'clock. But welcome, all the committee members are here. Susan, you just joined too. No questions now.
No, no.
Okay. And anyone else? One more.
Ritu's on as well.
Ritu, okay. Oh, and there's another. Oh, hi, Ritu.
Hi.
One more person with their hand raised. Is that Ed, Ma?
Sorry, this is Brian Pape.
Oh,
I
Brian,
am,
hi.
Also under Joe's name.
Not sure why.
Arrived late. So just, I guess I'm with Michael Levine, arriving late, and I don't know why I'm under Joe's name.
Not sure why either, but did you get to look at the plans?
Yeah, I did, just as they were finishing the presentation. So I had, yeah, a bad situation. If it can't be removed, then what else can you do? I guess that's the way I look at it.
Okay. Let's see. Rocio, another question?
Joe, can you tell me what restaurant they were talking about?
It's not been revealed yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
the address, we don't know what it is?
It used to be the Spice Market on 13th
Oh, the
and 9th
Spice
Avenue.
Market.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm familiar with the Spice Market. Yeah.
Yes. So Spice Market put in, I think, was the tenant that put in that platform, correct, Mr. Carroll?
It was done in conjunction. The building was purchased subsequent to that by the current ownership, and they've been working on redoing the storefronts with landmarks all around the building, and to generally make this whole situation more inviting to the community.
Wasn't the structure there before the Spice Market moved in?
It is possible that it was.
I believe that's the case, if I recall. And when they moved in, they inherited it and they didn't make any changes to it. I remember how awkward it looked, but again, there wasn't very much they could do with it.
Awkward.
It is awkward, yes.
Awkward.
But you know, look, the new suggestion is it's very similar to that All Saints down the block, where they changed the stairs to progress to their entrances more directly, in a more traditional architectural way, which I think activates the street and activates the retail. So that is a subjective opinion, obviously, but certainly this side entrance and whatever was inherited by Spice Market was, you know, it seemed like an afterthought, and we want to correct that, because I think, you know, I think it's better for you guys and it's better for us.
I have just a quick question. I know that they keep some dumpsters out there as well. So they're going to be, will they be removing those?
Yeah, the current, it's my understanding from the landlord that there won't be those big blue things on the exterior any longer. They will all be maintained on the inside of the building in the staging area.
Okay.
These like pallet boxes thing?
Yeah.
They're dirty laundry or something. It's problematic for everybody, and there's a strategy that's being worked out with the Soho House to keep them out of the street, which is where they don't want to be, obviously.
And here's the new, for those who didn't see the new configuration. So it's opening up the stairs so that they are front facing rather than side.
That'll be a great improvement.
For sure. Okay, let's see. Any other questions from anyone?
Let me just say, I use the word awkward because in the past I had seen people who didn't know how to get in because they didn't know the entrance was on the side. And I think it would be a major improvement to move that entrance to the front. So I think although we may not like what we're seeing, it's better than what was there before.
And you, Mr. Carroll said there will be an entrance on 9th Avenue as well as on 13th, correct?
But for a different.
For a different tenant.
Yeah, so this will be the entrance for the seller. The tenant on the ground floor, which used to enter here, by the way, the Spice Market. Now we did drop the slab on 9th Avenue. All along 9th Avenue, the slab has been lowered to line up with the sidewalk so that people will enter directly in the building. So the landlord has already invested a significant amount of money in dropping the 9th Avenue slab to make it much more congruent with what your committee is interested in.
Great. All right, well, thank you so much for coming and presenting the application. Wish you best of luck. We'll go into business session and discuss these things. You're welcome to stay, but it'll just be the committee speaking at this point.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you all. One moment, I'm just moving people out of the room.
So hi, Joe. I'm sorry that I came late.
Oh, it's not your fault. We were so much confusion, and I didn't know whether we should start at 6 or 5:30 because of the two different times. But the executive committee meeting is starting in 15 minutes, so it's better that we start on time.
So I missed the first presentation.
Yeah, here I can show you everyone it and give. It's a pretty simple.
I thought it was. I thought that was much simpler, and I was in favor of what I saw. But this one was disturbing me.
Yeah, I mean those things are hard to look at in any context. You're right. It's just so crazy to think how they got installed in the first place, you know. 1 second, and I'll bring up the stoop so we can all see it. Can you all see this? East 9th Street?
Yes.
Yes.
So this
Yes.
is, they have this existing, see this gate to the bottom entrance, and they're
Right.
converting it to the original that they have, you know, masonry history of, and other stoops on the block are the same configuration, but it's to then convert it to, so right now it's this, and then they're converting it to this. So it takes about 2 feet more of the sidewalk. So they are adjusting the tree pit. Parks Department had an issue with that tree being affected, so they originally wanted to move it and then decided to shrink the tree pit and keep the tree intact, and then have the correct amount of clearance between.
So, Joe, how much clearance is between the staircase and the tree? Can you see that?
Yeah, 3.8 inches it looks like, or 3.6.
Which is really not sufficient for wheelchair accessibility.
That's true.
Which is,
Oh, no, it says 4 feet 2 inches. When you look at
oh, I see,
the
right
distance
here, Brent.
between the little balustrade and the corner of the tree pit. Yes.
Joe, have they presented already? Did we miss their presentation?
Yes, they presented.
Then I have one real quick question for clarification before we discuss it. Was this not an application that came before the Landmarks Committee 2 months ago, which was recommended in opposition because of the details of the design and,
yes,
as Rocio was saying, the narrowness of the sidewalk?
Yeah, he brought up that it was denied by our Landmarks Committee because of the detailing in this, and he said now they're in conversation with Landmarks. Yeah, they're revising the detailing in, you know, negotiation with Landmarks to make sure that it's approved.
So therefore, the issue we're discussing is how much of the sidewalk is appropriate to be taken up and not the design of the stoop. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, it's not the design, but the amount of sidewalk space that they'll be taking.
Now, I did not understand the point you made. They are reducing the tree pit to make a wider sidewalk passage. Is that what I just heard?
Yes. So see how the ones on the other sides have kind of a square pit, and then this is
Elongated, totally elongated.
Right.
But even the existing is elongated, but now they're
More so.
they're moving the pit to the end of the tree. Do you see?
Yes.
But it won't
Oh,
damage
yes,
the
there's some
tree.
very fine lines in the sidewalk marking to show about how much it's reduced. See the fine, yes, that fine line is the old sidewalk marking. And
Okay.
the old tree pit went up to that line.
And he
So,
said,
so the question that had been before landmarks was, does this new stairway come out further than what's on the street, further down? Is that shown?
no, he said he was looking at Google Maps at the time, and he was showing, so this building is recessed from the property line. So our applicant. So if you see next door, their property goes right up to the property line. And this one is about, I don't know, how much is that? 18 inches or so shorter. And then this one will not look like that. This one is a basement with, you can see it in the picture. It's not going to be the same stoop that this one has. See, it's basically just an entrance here with a railing and then a stoop down. This is our applicant. But he said down the block are the stoops that look the same as this stoop, but I'm not positive if they all come out the same distance.
And we don't have a picture of what he's claiming is, oh,
No, we can hear you, Susan.
Joe, my experience with this block is that the other stoops do come out quite this far into the sidewalk. It's a very narrow sidewalk. I lived on this block for many, many years.
Oh, wow.
And I think one of the arguments that was made in Landmarks Committee was that they would not be coming out any further than the existing stoops that are there now. And if you look down this entire street, you see they're all the same. So it was kind of like we already have this situation on the block, and all we're trying to do is something that we know this community board likes, and that is the restoration of stoops. So we're not making the situation worse. We're kind of making it the same as the others on the block, even though it does take up an awful lot of sidewalk space. If they're reducing the size of the tree pit to provide a bit more sidewalk clearance, I think that is in their favor.
And was it this, the
Joe,
railing?
I love it. I love it. I think it's really beautiful. I think it will make the building really beautiful. The whole block is going to be beautified by this undertaking. And I think that I'm definitely voting in favor of this one because I think it's going to be a value to the whole neighborhood, not just to the block, not just to the one building, but I think it'll be a value to the whole block. So I'm very much in favor of this application.
And what, Michael, do you remember, or was that Landmarks, was it the railings that Landmarks didn't like?
Yes, no, those railings are different. I don't recall the exact distance. Anita had a very long explanation, but the railing here looks different than
So maybe they've already
made changes in response to comments made by our landmark committee before they went to the Landmark Preservation Commission. So I think they have been as responsive as they could have been to our landmarks committee, but they still need to come to us for the extension out into the roadbed. So I think they're really trying very hard to do something good, to enhance the block, to make a street, a block front that had stoops at one point, have stoops again, and to deal with some modern problems that didn't exist way back then, which was the narrow sidewalk. So I think that they've made improvements in the railing and some of the detailing that our landmark committee objected to, and I think they've done the best they can to increase the amount of sidewalk clearance as much as they possibly could, given the narrowness of the sidewalk. And by the way, the sidewalk wasn't always that narrow. The roadbed was the size of the roadbed was increased many, many years back. And when the stoops were originally put in, there was a lot more sidewalk space. So I think they've done a pretty good job here of trying to give us what we want, which is restoration of stoops on an historic block, and to try and do it as best as they could, given existing regulations.
I totally agree. And I'm so happy that you said everything perfectly. I couldn't have said it better than that. Thank you so much.
Great. So
this is Michael, whose name is Joe on the screen.
You're all Michael, Joe. I'm taking over CB2. It's all Joe Gallagher. So but Susan somehow has escaped.
Susan has her name. I have my name too.
Oh yeah, and Rocio. Okay, so this one, it sounds like, and we don't have a quorum, so these will all be put on the floor as recommendations and then to be taken up at the community board meeting. So Who's here? It's me, Rocio, Susan, Ritu, Michael, and Brian. Oh, we have a good 1, 2, 3. Oh, and Ed Ma's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We
We have 7. We
Who
do have a
are they? You
quorum.
have 14 participants. Who are they?
Well, William is here, one of our new members. Eugene, one of our new members, is here. Carter was here. Hey, Eugene. And Ed is
Valerie
this.
Rosa is.
Oh yeah, Valerie was in there.
She's under the attendees, but isn't she on there?
Yeah, let me see if she has anything.
Valerie, yep, Valerie's there.
I'm trying to move her up to see if she is in, but and now what do people think about the second one, Rocio? I know you have are you skeptical that they couldn't, or they just don't want to spend the money to remove it totally?
It's probably true that they don't want to spend the money. I'm sorry that I wasn't there on time to hear
No,
the
don't
whole
apologize. Not your fault.
Yeah, but I am sorry because I
Oh, you're
wanted
sorry
to
you
hear
missed
the
it.
whole-
Gotcha.
The whole thing. I would have loved to have heard it when I saw the plans earlier today, and I said, I don't like this. I don't like it. But so I'm not that able to say everything that I would like to say because I didn't have the full presentation. So I apologize for not getting in on time because of the confusion. But normally I don't like these things. I think they're ugly. I think they look horrible, but I don't know if they have another option to overcome to make it more palatable for all of us. I'm not sure.
It definitely is an improvement on what's there now.
Yeah,
I like the fact that it's coming in from the front, not from the side. That is an improvement. So maybe I'm willing to go for it.
You know, if we
because of
don't
that.
have, if we can't point to a viable option, then I don't think we're really in a position to say that this can't be
That
done.
we don't like it.
Yeah.
That's right. It's not just an aesthetic. I mean, I think the burden would then be on us to say there is an alternative.
So my question is always, what can you do inside of the building to make it work? Are we taking the sidewalk space just to suit their needs? Or what? Is there something that can be done inside of the premises to make it work for everyone? So that's what I missed. I wish I would have seen what they said beforehand. So Joe, did they explain what could have happened inside? Because we know what happens on the outside. What could happen in the inside?
He said they looked
Besides
into
the sewer lines. I heard about the sewer lines.
Yeah, no, that's all he said. He said they looked into options and putting it inside, but that the what would have to happen underneath the sidewalk in order to do that was prohibitive.
What was what? Explain
Prohibitive.
again.
I think what he said to you was it just was millions and millions of dollars to relocate the sewer lines and the electrical.
Yeah, that's not.
I don't agree that it's going to be millions and millions of dollars. I don't buy that because, I mean, I deal in real estate. I deal this every day. And sometimes we have to dig underneath. We have to do whatever it is to make it work. So if everybody wants an easy out, and sometimes you can have it, but sometimes you can't. So I don't know what to say about this, whether it can be done within the inside.
So we can, in the resolution, say, we have reservations about these structures generally, and think that every possible alternative should be explored. And in good faith, hopefully they have
realistic.
Every realistic, reasonable.
And again,
So,
we have.
May I ask, Joe, may I ask Brian? Brian?
Yes.
You were able to look at the plans and did you have any renderings of what inside is the possibility of doing anything that would work on the inside, or they just produced the outside?
They didn't show any interior views as far as the detail about what they could possibly do inside, but when you have such a large loading dock height, and that's why all these old buildings, this is the type of building that has these 30-inch or so loading dock. arrangement. And it's usually that the building, underneath that floor, inside that loading dock, is a reinforced concrete structure. So I would have to assume that's what they're dealing with. So it would be a whole, and I'm not sure how much headroom there is underneath that floor. I've seen lots of obstacles for lowering the floor on the inside. I've seen some very creative solutions where the owner is willing, has the opportunity to change that interior floor. But in this case, they didn't show enough detail for me to make that assumption.
So do you think that they should come back to us and give us more detail on the inside before we decide on this, or is this time sensitive?
Well, the part that I saw, we reviewed the drawings a little bit after I arrived, and I also arrived late, just like you and Michael, for the same reason. But what I did catch was that in this case, they're not creating a new obstacle, except that it's slightly larger, but it's a condition that's there. And so in that respect, I have to give it a little bit of sympathy, shall we say, or empathy,
Anyway.
because of the fact that it's an existing encroachment and way of dealing with that loading dock situation. So I can't opine on what's under the sidewalk. We're going by what their engineers say. So it's a tough one.
Question, is this within the landmark district or not?
It's in the meatpacking landmarks.
So would this be subject to landmark approval or staff approval or community board approval?
Yeah, they already got staff approval, I believe. Let me check.
And it's not coming to the full board?
No.
So we're the last, and presumably then staff approved it, and so we're simply approving it not from the appropriateness of being in the area, but what we think of the way they're altering an existing structure. Correct?
That's right. Yeah.
And remember, between Spice, after Spice left, this was the Dean and DeLuca grocery store.
Right.
And it's always been a major eyesore over there. It's been an area where, different trash containers are often located. And so it definitely would be beautifying that part of the street. And right next door is a commercial building, Bumble has several floors in that building. And then it goes to a retail store called All Saints. So it would be sort of 1, 2, 3 down that line. And it certainly would be a great improvement. I don't know if any of those warehouse structures have the ability to relocate part of that stairwell indoors. They often have staircases close to the exits there that if it's anything like the other 2 buildings that are leading up to the higher floors. So there may be several complications to placing it within their existing structure.
Okay, the other meeting is starting, I think. Did everyone see Valerie's comment? So she said for the East 9th Street that our denial from April said, denial of the depths of the steps which present a non-historic scale unacceptably intrude into the width of the sidewalk unless the width is shortened by approximately 1 foot 6 inches to conform to the usual depth of historic steps of similar buildings in the block and in the neighborhood. I'm not positive if it changed from, if they shortened it 1 foot and 6 inches from what was seen at landmarks.
I think that's a very important point, and it seems that was the criteria from before, and I recall that was the case, that they should have pointed that out to us.
Yeah, They just said our issue was with the detailing.
Yeah, if they didn't shorten it, then this is something that needs to be looked at again. We shouldn't have inconsistent results when we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah. Maybe I'll see, I'll check with Chanel to see, or the old plan, the plans that they presented at Landmarks, and if it's the same distance, we just stick with the resolution from Landmark, or, you know, the same
Language.
the language. I don't know.
Yeah.
It does.
Because of the time, I could check that, but if we're signing off now for the other meeting, I could do that right afterwards.
Okay, and then I can send an email around. But it sounds like, are we? Everyone's okay with approving the 9th, the 13th Street one? Rosio, did you want to approve?
The Spice Market one?
Yes, yes.
I'm really hesitant about it, but if I'll leave it up to Brian, who is an architect. I'm not an architect, but I wish I was. But if Brian thinks that this is the best that they can do, I'll go along with his recommendation. What do you say, Brian?
Well, I would go along with Joe's suggestion in writing this up, that we emphasize that that the utmost effort should be made to try to find another solution.
Okay.
We're not very happy with
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Me too.
And then for the East 9th Street, I'll take a look, and so if they haven't shortened it, we'll just go with the old resolution, or I mean, go with the old, you know, with the landmarks.
Well, the problem is the landmark resolution had a lot in it, not just the steps, but the detail of the rails.
Well, we don't have to go with the whole one, but
Yeah.
the same logic would apply.
The
They
logic
did
about the steps.
conform, and there's no justification. They should be able to conform.
Hey guys, it's Valerie. I hate to interrupt, but we can't start the exec meeting until this meeting ends.
Okay, well, I'll email everyone and outline what we're discussing, and then
Joe, I'm in favor of this application the way it stands. I think it's a beautiful job, and I'm very happy that they're able to do this.
Okay.
And I appreciate that they are going to be doing this. Thank you.
All right.
Joe, do you want us to vote now, or how do you want to handle it?
Why don't I email
Need to wait and see.
once I get that information, and then I can take a vote over email, if that's okay with everyone.
Is anyone against this, as shown?
I think people are against it if it's not going to conform to what the land, because it would be voting against what some people already voted for 2 months ago.
Okay, so let's see what the landmark shows. But I think we should be all in favor of this. It will be a beautiful thing to the neighborhood. Anyway, thank you.
We need to move on, sorry.
Okay.
Thank
All right,
you.
I'll see you all soon. I'll email everyone. Thank you. Great to see everyone.
Thanks.
Great, Joe. So I don't know what happened with our timing. So
Got all
sorry.
screwed up. No, please don't apologize. All right, bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.